One day, all it took. One video. Wasn't that bad. Well, it wasn't that hard. The teacher of the universe keeps making these videos every day. Making for classes, teaching math. Just saying, one day down, 100 views. Pretty good. I'm not saying I'm the champ, but as the son of the teacher of the universe and the Algebra 1 champion, clearly the champ is here. All right, we're back. This is day 2. We're still rocking strong. We're gonna see how long these work, but at least we're going on a second day strong. Hey, also, I found out, because I don't do YouTube very often, you can like subscribe to the videos and then I don't have to send you emails reminding you when they pop up. See, this is saving all of us time and energy, and that's what we're here for. So for today, before we get started, we got to have a little bit of a random fun, I'd say. I found some Lego mini figurines. Let's see what we won today. Oh, your boy Huey? That's right. Of the Huey, Dewey, and Louie fame. Where can you fit up here? Oh, I see a spot right there. Yes. Who else do we get? Who else do we get? It's Anna! For the first time in forever, we've got an Anna here. We're going to go up here as well. Now, of course, today would not be complete without what pins are we wearing? Disney pins. We've got some Stormtrooper action going because I miss Star Tours. Look, Star Wars Land, I miss you. And it's just old school. It's an old school Disneyland ticket where you actually couldn't just ride every ride. Like you had to pick and choose from a list. So cool. I think it's so cool. Whatever you think is totally fine. Now on for your favorite part of the day and mine. Our quotes of the day, the demotivational quote of the day. We're going back to March 16th for our throwback here. I'd agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong. And finally, April 2nd, 2020 quote of the day. My brain has too many tabs open. And now it's time for some math. Let's go. Okay, Ric Flair, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston, pay attention. This is going to be on the test. It's time for a little math. Of course, I'm eating some Skittles because that's what I eat. A little drink of my energy drink to make sure I'm staying as energetic as possible. Now, before we get started, there was a little mistake on yesterday's video. It's there for you. As you know, occasionally I like to leave things out there. And nobody corrected me in class. I don't know why no one corrected me in class, but it's okay because you have a second chance. Look back at yesterday's video. If you find a mistake, there's a prize waiting for the first person to email me in Ingenuity and let me know where the mistake was. No pressure. Remember, we're not in class together. It's not going to be that great of a prize. But it's time. Standard form of a quadratic equation. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c is standard form. We're going to start off with solving a couple equations. Solving for x, finding our zeros of our function, if you will, or zeros of the equation. Now, to do that, there's lots of ways we can work this out. We're going to learn some more later on, but today's a good day. Today's an exciting day. Why is it an exciting day? We're going to talk about one of my favorite formulas. One of my favorite properties, if you will. No, it's not the distributed property. Thank you, Mr. Carter. No, today we're talking about the quadratic formula. See, if I want to know the values of x, then we'll make this equation, this quadratic equation equals 0. I want to find the zeros of this equation. Well, there's, again, several ways to do it, but we're going to work specifically with our quadratic formula. As you all remember from class, we know the quadratic formula is, of course, x equals Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. We're happy as can be. You weren't loud enough. No. We sing this song together or we sing it longer. Just remember. So again, all together in the back. Yes, you. Excuse me. Me. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. We're happy as can be. You can do better. We'll come back to that. So let's look at our equation here. X squared minus 8x minus 20. The first thing we have to do is identify. What does a equal? What does b equal? What does c equal? So let's take a look. I see x squared. I don't see a number in front of that. That means the coefficient's 1. Perfect. B. I see an 8 in front of the x, but it's not just an 8, so don't forget that negative sign, of course, counts as part of the coefficient or the value for b. C is negative 20. So we go to our formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. We're happy as can be. We start simplifying now. I know that negative of negative 8, the opposite of negative 8 is positive 8. So 8 plus or minus the square root of negative 8 squared is negative 8 times negative 8, so it's 64. Now, negative 4 times 1, minus negative 4 times 1 times negative 20. Well, negative 4 times negative 20 makes this positive. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 20 going to give me 80 all over 2 times 1, which is 2. Let's keep simplifying down. X equals 8 plus or minus the square root of what is 64 plus 80? Now, you can get a calculator, of course, or we can always go old school here, guys. Don't forget about your wonderful vertical mathematics. 4 plus 0, 8 plus 6. I noticed something special here. 144 is a perfect square, which means I can take the square root of 144 and get a wonderful happy integer, which means x is going to equal 8 plus 12 over 2, or x is going to equal 8 minus 12 over 2. So first of all, 8 plus 12 is 20 divided by 2. Eight minus 12 is negative 4. Negative 4 divided by 2, negative 2. So if we want to find out the zeros of this equation, we want to find out the values of x that make the equation equal 0, we're able to do that using our quadratic formula. Now, yesterday, Taylor Fembers, yes, I see the comments that are made, was upset that I didn't do the second problem with you. That I made you do it all on your own. He says it's not fair. He was cheated out of some mathematics. I say, nay. We're doing all the mathematics today. We've got a new problem here. Y equals x squared minus 4x minus 11. But if I want to find out the values of x that make this equation equal 0, we're going to use our quadratic formula again. Very simple. So again, let's identify what does A equal? What does B equal? What does C equal? Now, I'm going to give you a second. That's right. A equals 1. B is negative 4. C, negative 11. We're going back to our formula now. Very simply, back to the quadratic formula. X is going to equal negative b. So this time, what's the opposite of negative 4? Positive 4. Plus or minus the square root of b squared. Negative 4 squared is 16. Minus 4 times a times c. What's 4 times 1? Let's just say is negative 4 here. Times negative 11 over 2 times 1. So you can get used to this, get comfortable. We can work these steps out in our head as we go through. We'll still make sure to check them along the way though. So now, 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus, what's 4? Negative 4 times negative 11. We got a negative times a negative. That means we have a positive value over 2. 16 plus 44. Now, we could be done here. But say I wanted you to get a close answer, because I know we could be done because 60 is not a perfect square. So we're not going to give an exact value here unless we leave it in this form, but we can always plug in to a handy dandy calculator and find out an approximate value for the square root of 60 and find out that x is going to equal, in this case, give you a second, type it in. Depending on your calculator, you might type square root first, then 60, or 60 square root. And we're going to be adding and subtracting. We're adding 4 plus that, 4 minus that. We'll divide by 2. We get x is approximately, not equals, but approximately 5.87. Or x will be negative 1.87. This is the beginning of the nose. But wait, there's more. We're coming right back with a little projectile motion.
One eternity later.
Hey, look who showed up today. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm the favorite in the house, teacher of the universe, but the son of the teacher of the universe has all the siblings here today. Anthony, Rebecca, Nelson, even little Rossi. Hey, brother. And we're back right now. For a second part of our notes, where we look at everybody's favorite, projectile motion. Stop groaning. It's okay. Remember, this stuff's not that bad as long as we remember to follow certain pieces of the puzzle. We don't follow certain instructions. So, what we have here is an approximate graph drawing and an equation to represent a very specific roller coaster. The Apollo's Chariot, a roller coaster at Busch Gardens, moves at 110 feet per second. The equation of the ride can be represented by the equation h equals negative 16t squared plus 101t plus 10. Well, we need to find out what is the maximum height of the Apollo's Chariot roller coaster. Well, it's actually pretty simple. We know that we've got a quadratic graph here, so we know it's a parabola. We know the graph would be a parabola. We know that it's going to be a parabola that opens down because the value of a is negative. All we've got to do is find the vertex of this wonderful, wonderful quadratic graph. So to do that, all we have to do really is, leave my marker, find out our axis of symmetry, thinking back to yesterday. Once we know our axis of symmetry, that gives us an x value for this graph. And then we can find a y value, or in this case an h value for our height, and that gives us our maximum height. So yesterday we found our axis of symmetry. Remember, that formula is very simple. It's x equals negative b over 2a, and that's it. It's a much, much shorter song. Don't forget. We need to recognize, what is the value of b? What is the value of a? Well, here's b, there's a. So we come to our wonderful, in this case, well, actually, we're not going to say x, we'll say t, since we're talking about time. So time equals negative b, negative 101, divided by 2 times negative 16. That just equals negative 101 over negative 32, which is going to equal 3.16. That's the value of time. That tells me that this point right here at our vertex, our x value, in this case t value, is 3.16. What we don't know yet is the value of the height. So we've got to find that out. Very simple. All we do, we go into our equation, plug in some values. Negative 16 3.16 squared plus 101 times 3.16 plus 10. Give you a second. Do a little math. We're going to do square 3.16 first, then multiply that by negative 16. What is our height? Did you figure it out? Give me a second. Let's see. See some hands up so people know. Wait, don't yell out the answer. There are other people still working. Let's be respectful of them, please. Oh, yes. Our height is simply 169 feet, or 169.39 feet. So that is the maximum height. Rounded to 2 decimal places. Now, if we wanted to know how long it would take for this wonderful roller coaster to get to ground level for a height of 0, all that we have to do is find our zeros of the function, which we just did using our wonderful quadratic formula, which is, of course, x equals, or t equals, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. We're happy as can be. So that's today's lesson. Of course, son of the teacher of the universe. We're not up to 2, Mom. Just saying, no pressure, but I'm saying step your game up. Thanks to the family for showing up. Oh, little Rossi, I appreciate you being here today. Nelson, Rebecca from Toronto, Anthony showing up from Dallas. Tomorrow, we'll be right back with another video. Why? Because people asked for it, and so I guess I should. Tomorrow's video, we're going to continue on some quadratic equations, but we're going to be looking at a very specific form. No spoilers. We might have some singing. You never know. It could be anything. We'll have some more quotes of the day. Maybe sponsors. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But tomorrow, we'll be back.